Greetings, this is the voice of Nickantony Quach, coming to you from the capital of Rhode Island. Here, follow me and check out Providence and Rhode Island while looking for a better way to build your ideal self. When immigrants from a family do not speak a local language, they always need help from the local people for communication and many other things having to do with language problems. You are an immigrant to the self-help country. Because you do not speak the self-help language, you always have the need for self-help books and videos. When you can speak the self-help language, you no longer are an immigrant to the self-help country. When you can speak the self-help language, you are the self-help guru. You can help yourself without the need for advice from too many other sources. Thumos language is a self-help language you can use to turn yourself into a self-help guru. That's Thumos, Thumos. When you speak Thumos language, you can help yourself in self-development. Thumos, that means master of relationships. Thumos language is a set of structured words in form of thumbnail definitions for use by those who want to become a master of relationships. The primary objective of Thumos language is share understanding of terms. To that end, basic concepts in human relationships are now presented. We begin with thumbnail definition 121. Involvement, that means cause and inclusion. Relation, that means purposeful involvement. Being in the same classroom with 29 other students on your first day in college does not right away give you 29 new relations, because you were not the cause for them to be included in the course of study about to take place there. If you were the one who formed a study group initially with 6 students in total, including yourself, you created on its first day of activity 5 new relations, each of which is a purposeful involvement between you and one of the other 5 members. If a student you involved in a study group did not participate further after the first day, that student had only a relation with you, but not with any other members of the group. Being in the same study group with 5 other students does not give you 5 new relations on the first day, if you were not the initial cause for them to be included in the study group. The same logic explains why you do not by default have a new relation with each schoolmate on your first day at school. Relationship, that means ongoing relations. According to definition 123, a relationship is not a single ongoing relation. When you talk to a storekeeper on a daily basis, you have an ongoing relation, but not a relationship with her. When the storekeeper sells you things every day, she has an ongoing relation, but not a relationship with you. By definition, we need at least two ongoing relations with a person in order to have a relationship with that person. You cannot start a relationship by creating the relationship. You can only do so by creating new relations with the same person, and equally important, keeping them going between the two of you. You can always create a new relation with another person. To be sure, you can always start another relation with the same person. As soon as at least two of the relations become ongoing, you begin to have a proper relationship with that person. Phantom, that means no substantial existence. A phantom relationship is the connection between two individuals without at least two ongoing relations. Having a relationship with someone in the past does not mean automatically having an actual relationship with that person in the present. To have an actual relationship with someone, you must have at least two relations actually ongoing with that person. Company, that means share time. If two individuals spent time together but for two different experiences, each was a company of the other person. As most companies are not in at least two ongoing relations, they normally are in a phantom relationship. Companion, that means share experience. If two individuals spent time together but for the same experience, each was a companion of the other person. As most companions are not in at least two ongoing relations, they normally are in a phantom relationship. Proponent, that means supporting an idea. You must be neither a company nor a companion in order to become a proponent. As most proponents are not in at least two ongoing relations, they normally are in a phantom relationship. Metrics, that means standards of measurement. Judgment, that means imposing metrics. Friendship, that means judgmentless companionship. A friend is a person who shares the same experience with you, but does not impose their own metrics on you. As most of your friends are not in at least 2 ongoing relations with you, they normally are in a phantom relationship with you. To be in a relationship with a friend of yours, involve that friend in 2 different activities for 2 different purposes, but on a regular basis. Advantage, that means better condition. Benefit, that means advantage taken. Resource, that means benefit input. A relation cannot take full advantage of personal resources spent on another relation. As each requires 2 different purposeful activities, relationships demand a great amount of personal resources. When you spend a substantial portion of your personal resources on a phantom relationship, other relationship of yours cannot take advantage of that portion. In other words, if you put too many efforts on your phantom relationships, you keep your real relationships from having the extra attention affordable if those efforts were not wasted on those phantom relationships. As many do not realize that most of their friendships are just phantom relationships, they tend to waste their personal resources on their single relation friends, and they thus have less personal resources for their actual relationships. The following true story about David and Mary took place last year. To respect their privacy, the names have been changed. Several years after they graduated from 2 different high schools, they went to the same vocational school where they first met one another. They both had a similar experience with relationships before. None were long-lasting. All their prior relationships broke up as soon as one of the partners moved on to the next stage in life, taking on a new job or going to a different school. After several months, David became Mary's boyfriend and Mary became David's girlfriend. At one point in time, Mary will be done with school in few weeks, but David still has another year to go. Since they are having stronger feelings for one another, neither wants to break up this time. They searched on the internet and found that there are 3 ways to maintain a relationship. First, love them for who they are. Second, be a good listener. And third, be nice. That, however, no longer helps, as they have tried those steps before in all their now broken relationships. With relationship insecurity, David sought help from his mentor, Mason. "Oh wait," asked Mason, "was any of those in the past a real relationship in the first place?" David was not sure. "David, to take a serious look at your relationships," said Mason, "you should know the difference between relation and relationship. Relation, that means purposeful involvement. Relationship, that means ongoing relations. A relationship is like a strip of ongoing relations, each of which is a purposeful activity involving both participants." Technically, you need to have at least 2 different ongoing relations to make up a relationship. The operative word here is ongoing. The mentor explained further. Meeting in school on a regular basis constitutes the first ongoing relation. Meeting for romance on a regular basis constitutes the second ongoing relation. With at least 2 ongoing relations, both David and Mary are in an actual relationship, which happens to be a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. In a few weeks, when Mary is done with school and no longer be available for their first relation, their second relation becomes their phantom relationship. "What should I do now?" asked David. "Start the third relation," answered his mentor, "before the first relation ends." "How?" asked David. To prevent your relationship of 2 relations from becoming a phantom relationship, you need to start the third relation before the first one ends. You need to involve your partner for a new purpose, outside of both school and romance. That purpose should be relevant and long enough for the third relationship to have a need to stay ongoing. "Would having a child together count as a relation?" asked David. "Definitely," answered Mason. "That's the easiest way to create a long-lasting relation." That's exactly why many want to have children, even if they could not articulate the true reason behind this desire. However, warned Mason, such a natural relation may bring a new set of challenges for the 2 of you. "Understood," said David. "Now I see why my relationship in the past did not last. They were all phantom relationships because each had just one relation. said David. Only a single purposeful involvement is not good enough to make a relationship. Kevin reached the conclusion and went on to other topics. It took only 40 minutes to tell you this true story about David and Mary. It took even less to get David started in mastering his relationships, thanks to Thumos language, which is demonstrated in the television series Thumos Love.